honesty and that truth, where you are laying out the fun, sexy side of things, but then there's also the hard stuff. And everybody talks about one side of that equation, but the other one gets, like you said, just very much brushed under the rug. And the other thing I kept thinking about reading the book, and the quote that kept going through my head was the Margaret Atwood quote about, as a writer, the only person you need to apologize to is your children. That everybody else knows what your gig is, knows what your thing is. They are making an implicit agreement with you that they might show up in something somewhere. Your kids are pretty young, so you haven't had to have this talk with them. You must have thought about what you would say to them, other than, is it simply just, this is what we did, this is our life, this is our truth, and like it or lump it?
Yeah, so our kids are 14, 12, and 8 now, okay? They have understood since they were little that different families have different rules, okay? Quite often our rules would be stricter than other families' rules as far as like nutrition and video games. But they know that other families have really strict rules, like around church, or this is allowed, or that's not allowed. And we talk about that everybody in every family and every relationship gets to decide, okay, how is this going to work for this relationship or this family? You get to set your own rules. And a lot of people set rules because they're really scared about things. So if they find out that like a kid's friend or something does something different, then like that parent may have a reaction. In that as well, ever since they were little, I was like, if you get married, if you don't get married, if you marry a man, if you marry a woman. So like, and we have same-sex friends who are, their families are really close to our family. So they know that like every family can look different too. So a few years ago, I introduced the idea of like, oh yeah, some families, some relationships, like boyfriend, girlfriend relationships are monogamous and some aren't, okay? And this is what that means. And you see monogamy most of the time. A huge amount of people are non-monogamous in secret, like that's cheating. But then some people are non-monogamous and their partner knows, like it's just a part of their agreement. So they all sort of knew what that was. My littlest one was never very interested in that conversation. He would rather hear more about social justice or white privilege. It's like, he like big picture stuff like that is really interesting to him. But he cannot recognize his own socks in a basket of laundry. Like there's no chance. There's no chance. So it was actually when my cover design, but I had never had the implicit conversation with my kids, like this is what the book is about. They knew it was about our marriage. They knew it was a grown-up book, just like they know that some shows and movies are not for them to watch. So I would say like, listen, I'm going to try to close my documents on my computer all the time. But if you walk by my computer and my writing's open, like don't read it because it's not for kids. It may be hard for you to understand without context. And that's what we always talk about. Like,
and it's a first draft. So let's just be gentle.
Yeah. And I have way too many commas. Exactly. Mommy's spelling and grammar is a little bit messed up. Okay. So it was actually just a few weeks before pre-orders opened. And that was in February of this year that I got my cover designs from my artist designer in Canada. And, she was working with her assistant in Chile, and there were, I think, some miscommunications about what swing meant, because one of the cover designs was like swing era with like, I was wearing like a poodle skirt and I had like this big, like bouffant, like hairdo, but it was still this idea, like, I would maybe have like 3 kids hanging off of one side of me and 3 men hanging off the other, because that's what I pictured when I first pictured the movie poster.
Sure.
When I was writing it, right? Like swing, 3 kids hanging off one side of me, 3 men hanging off the other. Some moms try to do it all.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. See that? But you can't fit 7 people on a book cover very effectively, especially with the like, holy shit look on my face that I wanted that to come through. I wanted that to read. Okay. So we're trying to figure out, do we do some kind of digital collage with like, this picture that I was driving to Dick's Sporting Goods with my oldest 2 kids when the email came through from my cover designer. And I was like, oh my God, open it. And so I passed my phone back and Luke, my 12-year-old, opens it. And he's like, oh my God, Mom, no, this is not, because it was the poofy hair. And then like Jack was actually like hanging from my hair with a swing, like
Oh,
on like a
dear.
playground. It's all wrong. And I thought at that moment, I quit. I don't even want to publish this book. Like, no. And then they started going through the list of things that I had to tell the designer was not acceptable. And then my 12-year-old says, and why is it called swing anyway? And I'm already like, oh, and I go, okay, listen, you know how there's monogamy and non-monogamy? And they were like, yeah. And I said, okay, when you're dating other people, sometimes that's called swinging, because like you're going back and forth dating other people. And Daddy and I thought for a while that was something that we wanted to do. We wanted to be married and we wanted to date other people too. But we realized really quickly that was really complicated, and that there was a lot of stuff we needed to work on in our own marriage so that we could be happier and we could be a better family altogether. And so we stopped dating other people, and then we just focused on us. And that's what the book's about. And Luke said, okay, but is the cover designer going to fix your hair?
Yeah, it
There you
does
go.
make it sound very like a boring, where you're like, doesn't sound interesting.
Yeah, that
You're
sounds.
like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But they see celebrities dating other people all the time or going back.
True.
Like, listen, monogamy used to mean one person for life.
Right.
And now it means like one person at a time.
Right.
So it's not a really weird thing to them.
Very true.
Which is good. Which is good that they're not so,
Yeah.
because then they'll make the choices they want to make.
Yeah.
So the book overall is sort of the story of you realizing what you want out of that part of your life and trying different things and coming to this realization. Since writing the book, has its release and reception been what you thought it would be?
The thing that is surprising me the most about the book is how many men are reading it and how many couples are reading it together. I never anticipated that. I was hoping this would be a book that someone could pass to their girlfriend who's miserable in her marriage and go, here, this helped me. This helped me get some clarity on, what I want, what I don't want, what I can control, what I can't control. And okay, these are the steps I'm going to take towards being more fulfilled in this area. Regardless of what path they've actually taken, they actually decide to take. Like everybody who reads my book and gets back to me, they're like, yeah, it's so clear what I need to do next. I need to come clean about that affair. I need to put the divorce papers away that I just signed, and I need to try this. I thought that it would be something that friends pass to each other. So the fact that men are reading it and they're really resonating with the worthiness, the perfectionism, the like just trying so damn hard and not really feeling like you're able to accomplish anything. That is the thing that I didn't expect.
It's got to be nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's incredible. And with the content that I make on social media, so my most popular video series on Instagram and TikTok is how to keep monogamy hot. Because monogamy, we have decided, is better for us, healthier for us, simpler, but damn, those sex clubs were sexy.
Everything that's not as good for us is sexier.
Right? So how do we have like a wild night of sex with our partner, like in our master bedroom, right? Without having to go to, especially, and it was during pandemic. So like how can we really keep ourselves safe? How can we keep our family strong and safe and like have really hot sex or have fun with your partner? That's the thing that we have figured out how to do, is have more fun with each other all day. Like making our days more playful instead of just like wait, because that's one of the things in the swing lifestyle. Hooking up with another couple is called playing, right? But to actually have that fun woven into our day and woven into our relationship as just like a staple of how we interact with each other. I just want that for more people, because life is too short to be in a lame marriage And it's just too easy for resentment to build up and for the disconnect to grow wider. And I just want people to have that opportunity to reimagine what is possible, because when you've been with someone for a long time, it's really easy to think or say, oh, that'll never change. That's always this way. This is something I'm just going to have to deal with. I'm never going to get, it's never going to be up to my standard, in that area.
It's funny you're saying all this, because I know the other video series you're doing on Instagram is how to trick your kids into cleaning their room / your house. So all of these things are also applicable to that series as well.
Yeah. So it's how I get my kids to clean the house. And I tell people I was paid to tell other people's children what to do for over a decade before I had my own kids. So I have tricks for motivating kids. Like I have tricks for just saying like, okay, these are the things that are going to happen. All right, you can choose what order you do it, or you could, and the way I choose chores for my kids based on their personalities, because I want them to help, and I want them to feel like that wasn't that hard. And, oh, I see the benefit of it. And, oh, why did I think that was a big deal? Right. So yeah, that's what people really enjoy when they come to my page. One of the greatest things I got from an audience member was, she said to me, listen, when I go to your Instagram, I feel good about what I'm already accomplishing. And I also feel like, I feel a little inspired. Like maybe I could do that, and that's what I want for people, because I think that, I've been trained in a lot of different ways as an athlete. I had figure skating coaches who took a much different approach than that. And I tried to shame myself into being better in different areas as well. So I think if we can make a movement towards the life or relationship or family or organized living space that we want, based on like, oh, yeah, I'm already really good at this. Yeah, I've got this covered. Okay, yeah, maybe I can stretch a little bit that way. Making these steps out of love, out of certainty in yourself, out of, just the potential that you would like to see in your family instead of just seeing lack. I think it's a much more enjoyable way to raise the bar for yourself.
Fascinating.
Love it.
What, Ashleigh, thank you so much. This was wonderful. Really appreciate the time. Do you have another book? The question we always want to ask and then always feel bad about asking is like, congratulations, you finished this big effort. What else you got?
What else?
Is there anything else in the pipeline?
I got lots of things. Luke. Okay. So I am opening up members only content on my website, which should be open, might even be open by the time this podcast is live. A lot of people find my videos on Instagram or TikTok and they go, oh, wow, that makes me think of this in a way that I haven't thought about it before. Like, this is an argument I always have with my spouse. This is something that we never can see eye to eye on, even though we're both trying. And I think it's from years of coaching adolescents that if you give me 30 seconds, I can disarm you. So you're like, oh yeah, we're all on the same team here. And then I can give you a reason for doing something I think will be beneficial and maybe make you laugh and then drop you off with like, yeah, I'm going to go do that. Okay. So often after people watch my videos, they're like, oh, I'm going to send that to my husband or wife. Oh, you know what? Because I know that this is framed in a way that's not going to incite shame or blame. It's just like this easy, like, oh, sort of, have you ever noticed? Have you ever thought kind of way? Right. So I get a lot of direct messages. I usually have about 80 conversations going in my DMs every day. And
you don't even have time to have an affair now.
Right. I really don't have time to have an affair. I know, it's probably a good thing. And I'm taking those questions that I get asked so much, going into more detail about things with relationships, little tips, little hacks. And all of that content is going to be on my website. So there'll still be my videos posted on Instagram, and there'll be additional videos and reflection questions. So if you want to journal about something, if you want to answer the questions and have your spouse, if you just want to think about them, just sort of like expansion exercises on the different ideas with marriage, with, picking chores for your kids, those kinds of things. So that's going to be $7.99 a month or $79 for the year. I'm also launching a podcast January 1st where I want to bring on experts in each of these areas. When we're talking about like, oh, all right, when resentment has built up. Okay, when there's trauma that one of the partners has to get over or wants to work through, how can you be a supportive partner, and how can you guys work together through that? When there are financial issues, like all of the different areas where we could all use some support in making better relationships for ourselves, so then we can model these better relationships for our kids. So hopefully they don't have to reinvent all of this like it feels like we do.